Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Ladies, understand something. The top end of a woman's weight is 145 pounds. Okay. My mother's 5'9", and she was 145 pounds until she was 50. That's the top end of your weight, because there should be about a 40-pound difference between you and men.
Basically, if the guy is rich, what ends up happening is the lawyer contacts the person and be like, hey, you know, your name gonna be all in the paper, so you might as well just settle out of court.
I can recognize talent. Even if I don't agree with the politics, a lot of the politics that was underlying in the show and some of the sentiments he was trying to share, I recognize artistry when an artist is present.
Yes, this is the definition of absolutely cooked. We'll never go back and take a look at her bad decision and take accountability for any of that.
Because there is powerful people in the industry, somehow there is a different law that applies to them. And I agree with that assessment.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Peace, blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. I hope all is well with everybody in attendance. Thank you for taking time out of your evening to kick it with me. I hope the weekend has been peaceful, productive, more importantly, insightful, full of clarity. I got one for y'all tonight. It's a lot. It is. Before we get into it, though, let me get some stuff up here real quick. We got some time. Let me bring that up. So if you want to keep in contact with me, everything down there at the bottom is available. Do me a solid before I actually get into tonight's discussion. Repost, share this out. I don't know where you're watching from, but if you could do me that solid, I appreciate it very much. There was something else I was going to mention. Oh, giving my flowers out. You know, I can't forget to do that. Everybody who's ever graced this platform, I want to extend my gratitude to you. Thank you so much for hanging out, for sharing your work, for sharing your energy, for sharing your time. It's nothing like getting together with a bunch of pretty laid back, chill people, cutting it up, enjoying some good literature. You know what I'm saying? Everything doesn't have to be drama filled. You know, I'm looking forward to doing the open mic next Friday. The flyer is already out. The only place I haven't put it is on Facebook or Twitch, but it's everywhere else. If you know a poet or you know someone who's into the open mic scene, send them my way. All the information's at the bottom. I welcome everybody. You know the energy if you've been here before, so it won't be no surprise to anybody. And yeah, it's really just about having a good time. You feel me? I got some things switching up over here. If you've noticed, I'm trying to get it right, like to where we just cutting it up without any interferences. Topics, discussions, concerns, questions, anything from the audience, you can send it to me in the comments section. I read them from Instagram, I read them from Twitter X, I read them from everywhere except for Rumble. Rumble is still kind of on a slow build up. But if you're on any of these spaces and you're watching me, come over to YouTube, hit that bell, stay locked in. I upload damn near every day. The quality of conversations never dull. You're always going to get something out of me, Jason, Sydney, Anna, Rob. You're not going to be disappointed one way or another. I got a video that I'm going to play. Shout out to the young lady. She's the only one that seems to have covered this as of right now. It's mainstream, it's out, but it doesn't have the amount of eyes on it that I would have expected it to. But we're going to talk about it. She broke it down a little more eloquent than I probably would have. But I saw the story and a couple things that I want to address here, right? Safety, ego, pride, chasing after your heart's desires and your lust, putting your body in harm's way, putting yourself in harm's way in general for $1. This comes down to your womanhood. This comes down to who you lay down with. This comes down to having principles. This comes down to having standards. This comes down to just being completely mind fucked and wishy-washy. She absolutely just, I don't know what it was here, what prompted. I don't know why we run into this so often, but I know why we run into this so often. And fortunately for her, she's okay for what we consider to be okay. You see the title. I want y'all to focus on the title specifically, because like as much as we don't really care, most of us don't. These are daughters. These are someone's sisters, someone's cousins. And as much as I want to sit up here and rip and tear into people who choose a certain lifestyle, who the hell am I to really judge or say anything, right? Because I'm just as screwed up in my own ways, just like the next person. But we're going to talk about it regardless. Hold up. Can't predict that. So what I'm going to do here, right? I'm going to play this video. It's about, hold on a second. It almost seemed like Steve purposely said bullshit off. I can't stand that car alarm. You ever have somebody in the neighborhood and their shit go off, and they take forever to turn shit off. I hate them with a passion, especially in the middle of the night, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, your shit going off. You don't recognize the sound of your car going off, don't you? I that's a pet peeve. Huge pet peeve. Not on my top 5, but I can't stand it. Anyway, hold up. How did this happen? Can't do no calls here. We'll talk afterwards. How come people don't want to be bothered with you until you're actually doing something? My phone don't ring all day. And then as soon as you start to occupy yourself and you're trying to be productive, that's when everybody wants to hit you up. No, you're going to wait. Absolutely going to wait. Again, I got a video I'm going to play here. I'm going to let y'all hear it. And then we're going to go ahead and talk about this shit. I'm going to pull this up. Do me a solid if you are on YouTube right now. Hit that thumbs up for me. So they can recognize my stream. It gets in the algorithm and it triggers more people to set eyes on the video. The more eyes on the video, the more traction the channel gets. The more traction the channel gets, the better it is for me and for Jason and for Sydney. Anyway, let's go ahead and play this real quick.
Told her family and friends that she was attending a party in Dubai with a modeling agency. Two men actually from a modeling agency. So she left for Dubai. When she got to Dubai, her parents, her family, her friends, nobody heard from her until they filed a missing person report. And then after some weeks later, she was found by the roadside with her spine broken and some of her limbs. She was found in a very bad state and was rushed to the hospital. She is receiving treatment and her family are currently concerned. The two men she followed to Dubai, nobody knows them. She herself doesn't even know them. And allegedly, she wasn't even taking or she didn't meet proper agency at the party. The two men she met were people nobody knew about. And there was a rumor that the kind of party she attended are parties that men pays women lots of money to perform some kind of unspeakable act. I don't know what the act is, but I don't know if the breaking of her spine is part of the act. What do you think about this story? Moral lesson to this story: wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, make sure your family or your friends are actively involved, not the people you're working with. I know that she might feel, okay, this is an opportunity for her to travel from her country. She's actually a Russian model, but I don't think she's based in Russia. So she left to Dubai for greener pasture and she met something unspeakable. Thank God she's still alive and I hope she's recovering very fast. Please learn from this story, girls. The world is not.
I got Ian in the building. I'm gonna bring him up and we're gonna break this down. Y'all probably not familiar with him. He's been up here a few times. Yeah, I don't know how much of this video you got to see, bro, but if you're ready, come on up.
Hey man, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good, man. Saturday night, ready to cut it up. What's the word? How you feeling?
I'm doing all right. I didn't get to see much of that video. I don't really know much of what it's about, but I mean, it seems kind of interesting from kind of just the rumors that I've heard. So figured I'd hop on.
Yeah, so pretty much this Russian OnlyFans model, she decided that she was going to go on a trip to Dubai, and it didn't go the way that she planned it to go. And she went missing for a few days. And when they discovered her, her body had been completely broken from her spine to her legs to her arms. They have her in the hospital. From what I understand, she is okay, as much as you can possibly be. But here we are, OnlyFans model, living her dreams, living her life, getting into things that she probably shouldn't have, has now found herself in a very precarious situation. Your initial thoughts on the story? I mean, based on what you've heard and even up to tonight.
I mean, I don't know. Me personally, I think I would definitely consider Dubai probably one of the more safer places in the world to visit. So to a degree, it's kind of shocking and a little bit disturbing as to essentially what happened. I don't know all the details of it, obviously, but again, with Dubai being what I would consider probably one of the more safer places, it's a little concerning. As far as who she is, what situation she got herself into, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like she is an adult, and regardless of gender, once you reach a certain age, you should be able to logically think about certain situations before putting yourself into them, and exercising every possible outcome that could happen with, whatever happens. So, I mean, I don't know. It's sad for sure. But like I said, I don't know. But like I said, I don't know all the specific details of exactly what happened. So there's not, I guess, necessarily a whole lot I could say outside of what I already have.
One thing that you pointed out that I think should be highlighted here is knowing where you're traveling to. I've never been to Dubai. I've never even been on an airplane before. But let's remove her profession from the equation just for a second. You are essentially going to a foreign country, a location that you are not very familiar with. There's no way in the world that I'm just going to up and go somewhere, not know where I'm going to lay my head at, what kind of money I'm going to need, how much I'm going to need, have some knowledge of the natives, their rules, regulations, have my own mapped out plan of what I want to see, where I need to stay away from. I'm not just going to jump up, go somewhere random, and then, I'll figure out when I get there. Now, I'm spontaneous, but I'm not that spontaneous. Like, I'll go somewhere where I've never been before, but there's going to come with some things. Like, for one, I'm not going by myself. Or if I'm going to go by myself, you're going to know the people that I care about, friends, etc. You're going to know where I am at all times. But as far as her in this particular situation, I don't know if she's been there before. I don't know too much about her as a person at all. It just is something that fell into my lap, and all I can think of was, your intentions had to have been devilish, or maybe they weren't. Maybe that's an unpopular fourth wall that I'm breaking, because all I'm thinking about is, oh, she's an OnlyFans model. She just is going over there for content. She's going over there to get railed by multiple dudes, and she's trying to make money off of it. And like, she's so desensitized. Her body has been so like torn apart by having so many different partners that she is just out here exploring the world as careless as a 5-year-old who don't know no better.
Yeah,
So,
and I mean, I feel like that's sorry for cutting you off. My bad. If you have something else to say, go ahead. And
go
say
ahead.
it.
You got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but I've kind of to your point of, going to somewhere you've never been before, or even if you have been there, you should at least have some kind of idea of what you're walking into. And that kind of goes back to the whole, like, being able to logically think as a human being, understanding that, different places bring different things, and it's kind of one of those things where you just have to exercise every possible outcome, good or bad, because the world isn't a perfect place, and obviously what happened to her shouldn't have happened to her. But then again, if I decide to walk down a dark alley at the middle of the night with $1 million in my hand, I shouldn't get robbed, but the chances are I probably would. So it's kind of just one of those things where you have to understand that the world isn't a perfect place, and you have to plan accordingly. As you mentioned, like being in groups or understand where you're going, stuff like that. And it's just something that I think a lot of people take for granted and don't really take into consideration, especially when going out, because of people who have the ideology of, oh, nothing should happen because I said so on the internet. That's retarded. It's just completely and utterly is doltish to sit there and think that everything should be fine just because a certain amount of people said so on the internet. Like, that's just, I don't know. To me, that's weird. It's more of a understand that the world's not a perfect place. Stuff can happen, and you need to plan accordingly.
This is one of those situations where I often ask myself, would this have happened if she was in the profession that she was in, regardless? And it would. Like, you don't have to be a sex worker for this You know, you can walk out your door right now and something happens, and nobody wants that. But the climate that we're in, people are snatching up children in the school system and out on the street. You see crime more brazen every day. People don't care. They're getting bolder and they're screaming louder with their intentions. So I try to be fair with my assumptions, and this would have absolutely happened whether or not she was doing this or not doing it. But I do want to say she didn't ask for this, but she kind of positioned herself to be in this predicament, if that makes sense. Like, I give you an example. And this is your first time ever going to Jamaica. You don't know nothing about Jamaica. Now, you're going out, but you don't really know the culture. You don't really know what is out there waiting once you get off the airplane. You assume that what you see on TV is what you're going to get once you hop off the plane. Or you assume that the way that you converse here is the same way that you converse once you get off the plane. But it's oftentimes not like that. And so people size you up, size tourist up. They'll know if you're from here or if you're from here, and they will use certain practices that they have accumulated over a lifetime to kind of gauge what they can do or what they can get away with from whoever the victim is. And if you're not really hip to what's going on around you, your likelihood of falling into those traps go up tremendously. And I think that a part of her being a woman and assuming that because, you know, everybody wants to have sex with her and accountability consistently eludes women for whatever reason, right? She went over there with a sense of I'm untouchable, because quite frankly, why would you want to harm little old me? I'm just a attractive woman that most simps kind of spend their hard-earned money on every day. All men do is validate me. All they do is tell me I'm pretty and they want to drink my bath. So why would I assume that danger is going to fall upon me? Not knowing that the type of lifestyle that you live creates the type of monster that she eventually ran into. So I asked the question to you, to anybody who's watching. Do you believe that you reap what you sow? And I'm not saying what happened to her was justified. What I am saying is you want to minimize the likelihood of shit like this happening as much as possible. That profession that you're in is not helping it. I yield the mic.
Yeah, I mean, kind of going to your point earlier of how that this could essentially happen to anybody. I think the fact that because it's a woman and because she's in the industry that she is in, I think that's why it's getting the media and notoriety that it is. I think if this was to happen to, you know, just any average person who didn't really have any significance, then very few people, if anybody, would be talking about it at all. I mean, it would be on the news for all of maybe 5 minutes and then it's forgotten about. So yeah, and I mean, kind of just reiterating the point you and I have both made throughout the whole the podcast so far is, you know, just the whole understanding that, you know, there's definitely ways to avoid certain things from happening, but you have to turn your brain on and think logically of ways to avoid those, because again, reality is shit happens. And you have to be able to understand that and weave your way around it as much as possible.
What I think needs to be understood here is you, me, everybody here that's watching, right? We all have choices, and we can do with our choices as we wish. If you want to piss out the window, you can piss out the window. If you want to stuff somebody's car exhaustion pipe with a potato, you want to scratch up the side of it, that's your prerogative. If you want to be angry and go out here and be reckless and cause destruction to people's property, you have every right to. But understand, even in your thinking, even just in like the smallest choices, there's always going to be like some ramifications behind them. It doesn't really matter if you think that they're innocent or not. What you think is innocent is not innocent to somebody else or to the higher power. When you are in a specific field of work, like sex work, your spirit has been dispersed through a multitude of different people who have slept with other people, and their spirits have been tied to other people. These are multiple gateways. These are multiple doors to other realms that we don't see. You're inviting in demonic spirits, different personalities, different assignments, different snares. You're creating different futures that never would have existed before until you decided to give permission to these things to come into your life. With her, I'm going to make an assumption, and it's my opinion, but I think that within her career path, this ultimately came because of the path that she decided to go down. Who's to say it wouldn't have happened if she never did OnlyFans? But let's say she never did OnlyFans. What's the likelihood of this happening to her? versus what we have now. See, we don't know about the what if. All we know is this is here, this is real, and this is what we have to deal with, right? But we can't speak on a turn that was never crossed. But let's say she never got into the profession. Would she still have ended up this way? And I think a lot of people don't really realize that all it takes is you saying yes or no. Or all it takes is you walking one way when you should have walked the other. And you find yourself crossing paths with someone that you absolutely had no business crossing paths with in the first place. Now, R.I. Ether said we also have to acknowledge that when we are fed by the media, it's stories given to us, whether it's truth or fiction to be received as truth. I'm glad you brought that up. Because, and I ask you this too as well, if you want to elaborate on it, because I think what he's saying is this could just be a made up story to keep us distracted from what's really going on around us, or it could be real and it's still designed to keep us distracted. So we know social media does not tell us the full-on truth about everything that's going on. We know that social media is designed to keep our eyes glued on the phone and on our devices. We know that. Does that play a factor in this? Would you date a OnlyFans model? Would you take an OnlyFans model serious?
No. And I mean, there's a multitude of reasons behind it. I mean, everybody's different. I'm sure that there are people out there who would, and they probably have their own reasons for it as well. But no, me personally, I would not. And then kind of going back to your point of, if she wasn't in this profession, would it have happened to her? That's not really something that we can have really too much of a say on solely just because we don't know. I mean, reality is kind of also like what you said. This could all just be a publicity stunt. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't put it past anybody, especially in the economy we live in today. Everything's solely based off of attention. So all of it could be a publicity stunt to get more clout, become more famous, get your name out there more, etc. It's I would say it's probably a very shitty way and degenerate way of doing it, if that is the case. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why. For argument's sake, let's say this was a publicity stunt and none of this actually happened. Are you really telling me that you're that desperate, or you're that lacking within yourself that you would go to the extremes to lie about something so serious? First of all, we have a shitload of women out here on the internet who would rather choose the bear and all that. Every single guy is a creep. They scared to walk down the street because they worried that a dude is going to do something to them. Creepy this, creepy that. We already have that horrible connotation put on us as it is. But to fabricate a lie just so that you can get, which is ironic to me, to fabricate a story to get more men, any men that you are claiming dangerous and they're adversarial. These are the same men that you're attacking, but also you're baiting them into clicking on that little icon in your bio so they can go to your page and see your content. These are the same guys that you're lying on and claiming that they're doing all this bodily harm to you, but you still want them to subscribe to your channel and pay for it and fund your lifestyle. Make that make sense. You got to be screwed somewhere mentally. You got to be broken. There has to be some pieces that's not forming cohesively.
Yeah. If it is a publicity stunt, it's a real degenerate way of doing it. Kind of like you said, the whole idea of, men already having a chip on their shoulder, a target on their back for all the stuff that, a select few men in the world out there do. So now it's categorized as all men. It's just shameful, and it kind of sucks that everybody has to pay the consequence of both things. And I think that more so modern women who are for this feminist movement or whatever the fuck you want to call it, because it really truly isn't even that. But it's just created a whole mindset in the West of that, kind of like what you were saying, to pick the bear or all this other baloney, right? So they'll use men as an escape route for X, and they'll blame us for Y and all this other stuff. So it kind of just gets to a point where things have to, I guess, necessarily end, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's a super weird concept of we're gonna bash all men, but then men do this, and we don't need men, but men also pay for our lifestyle, and it's just like none of it makes sense anymore. And it's kind of like something that I posted a little while back about how modern feminism has created this weird 3-phase garbage society where women are better than men at everything, while also are equal, even though they need DEI, while also children, and every decision they've ever made, they were tricked into making. A man made them do it. So she's a girl boss and is better than you, but she needs help to get the job. And then if you sleep with her and don't buy her handbag, you rape her because she changed her mind. So it's like, well, in reality, how the fuck are we supposed to go about day-to-day life if certain things like this are something that happen on a regular basis, especially since it's pushed so heavily?
I think it's all ridiculous, and all it's really doing is making men only look at you for sex, because the companionship component of it is slowly and concisely being removed from your dynamic because of a idea that you assume is the formula to a successful partnership, in reality, that shit is a repellent. It's no different than putting on off spray in the summertime, and you got mosquitoes and nets and all types of insects that you don't like. Me, I can't stand mosquitoes. I put on some off spray. I go sit outside because I know, like, as soon as you get out there, within 5 minutes, you're getting bit the hell up. This false feministic ideology that was designed for one thing, but it turned into something else. It's a repellent. It's making dudes look at you like you want to fuck me like a dude. You want to compete with me like a dude, but you also want me to treat you like a woman while also pretending and cosplaying as a dude. It's not happening. It's not. And then on top of that, to be a grown adult with all the privileges that you have, you're an OnlyFans model. I don't know, and I don't believe all of you are grossing in over $60,000 a month, but a lot of you are making substantial income off of doing nothing but laying on your back. And the dudes are just coughing out Zales, coughing out Cash Apps, coughing out. And all you got to do is open your legs up, smile, put a plastic penis in your mouth, grind on a couple of chicks here and there, and you set. But again, you want to be able to do what you want to do and still get away with it without any type of pushback. It doesn't work like that. For whatever reason, this woman thought, her indulgence wasn't going to have an expiration date. You can't sit here and tell me that there's nothing going to come from you wanting multiple penises inside of you and something positive is going to happen from that. You can't tell me you can just go out here, get trains ran on you, you can get guys busting 20 times on your face and just that and the third, and the internet is going to look at you like you're an angel. The internet don't love nobody. The internet don't care about nobody. Go read some of these comments. The comments, they are relentless. They're brutal. They will turn you into a meme within that very hour that you get uploaded. They don't care. And why is that? Because everybody reacts differently. Because whether or not you think it's okay to be loose with your body or not, someone else isn't going to look at it the same way. I find it repulsive. Ian might like it. He might like you being a little free. But everyone's everybody different, you know what I'm saying? I'm good. Like 2025, you gotta have paperwork, you gotta have extra condoms, you gotta have condoms on condoms, you gotta just strap. I'm cool on that. Now, this woman, if this is true, this woman done had her spine broke, she done had her arms broke, her leg. How do you have every part of your body broke? What could you have possibly done for someone to do that to you?
It's beyond me. I mean, reality of it is, this is either a publicity stunt, and it's going to bite her in the ass, and she's going to get backlash for weeks, months, if not years to come, if it comes out that this was all just fake bullshit to get attention. And if it is true, then, right, I mean, whatever it is, it shouldn't have happened to her. But then again, I mean, ever since she started her OnlyFans, she's kind of just been living with her brain off in La La Land. So it's definitely not something where she even thought twice about going somewhere where she's either never been before or has been, and now just going to a different area of it, and knows absolutely jack shit about that area. So it's either way, it's kind of just one of those turned her brain off things, because she hasn't really had to do much in order to make money. And either way, it's gonna bite her in the end. So, end of
I think we need to
discussion.
bring shame.
Actions have consequences.
I think we need to bring shame back. I mean, really, because bad behavior is bad behavior. If you go to work, your employee isn't living up to the contract that they signed, you write them up, or you give them a pink slip, or you have a conversation with them about their performance. If your employee comes to work for 2 weeks straight, a half an hour late, you're going to have a problem with that. That's cutting into your time. There's business and product that needs to be dispersed and handled on a timely matter. They not there sets you back and your schedule. It puts more pressure on other employees that are there on time. They have to pick up extra slack because of the person who is not doing their part. I think that same rule should apply to women who choose to utilize their vessels in the ways that they do. You cannot ask for husband material. You cannot ask to be given certain privileges and treated a certain way when you yourself do not do what you're asking others of. Put it this way, you create your own sentence. You give birth to them. You plant your gardens, you plant your seeds. When they grow up and they develop, those are indirect cause of choices that you made. So I don't want to hear nothing about they being mean to me, or they're trolling me, or they're harassing me, or this, that, and that. You put that out there. How are you going to tell someone else not to speak on something when you make it public? If you're so bold to get on social media and get dildoed all through the course of your live streams, and you're watching the post and the comments, yeah, baby, keep doing that. Oh yeah, that's good right there, baby. Yeah, keep doing that. Keep doing that. If you can have conversations live stream with these thousands and thousands of dudes sending you money, man, you have no problem with the other side of the internet shit. You can't have one thing without the other. You gotta take the good with the bad. I feel for her. Nobody should be treated like that. But in the same breath, it's like shit. Well, what did you expect? I probably get a lot of backlash for that. What did you expect? I mean, really. I do a bad job, I'm going to get written up. There's going to be reports made. I might get called to the office. Young Jeezy and Jenny May, they going through their stuff. Bill Cosby,
Yeah.
he went through what he went through.
You're gonna get a lot for that, but whatever. I mean, yeah. Whatever.
Don't get into a profession that you're not prepared to deal with the consequences for. It doesn't really make a difference what you're doing. If you're a public speaker, if you're a WWE wrestler, if you're a boxer, there's just things that come with the territory. And I can only imagine her parents and her family, how they must feel right now. But I don't understand why people get so sensitive. Why do you get so sensitive when someone speaks the truth or they give their opinion? Like, what's the problem? You have no issues with jumping on Bill Cosby. Yeah, I wanted Bill Cosby locked up. Y'all got a lot to say about Trump. You had a lot to say about Joe Biden, Elon Musk, Offset, Future. The list goes on and on about the men that you bash and talk shit about and condemn on a regular basis. So you shouldn't have no issue with contention towards women who decide to put themselves out there for potential dangers. No one's wishing hurt, harm, or danger on nobody. That's not what's happening here. What's happening here is we're saying, look, we see it. We don't think it's right. It's wrong. You did this. So I'm not trying to hear you cry. Deal with the shit. That's it. Deal with it. Own up to it. Like, what is the problem? What is the problem? And wholeheartedly, like I said before, I have no issues whatsoever with the young lady. Like, that's your life. You do what you do with it, what you want to. but don't put your ass and titties all on the internet, twerking, laughing, smiling, flaunting people's money. Every single guy that paid for your lifestyle, you sitting up there just flaunting it for the entire world. Doodle stains in your drawers and all that. You don't have no problem with the admiration and having people like fawning over you until you start hearing all of the negative replies and responses. And that is when everybody wants to play the victim. Everybody wants you to feel sorry for them. Everybody wants you to pick a side. Everybody wants you to leave this person alone. But you were good when everything was hee hee ha 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 ha. Ladies, especially the ladies, there are consequences for flaunting and showing off your body. There are consequences for being manipulative and for being liars. There are consequences for being deceitful, for playing one side against the other. There are consequences for being self-righteous, for being egotistical. There are consequences for moving funny, for stepping on people's toes, stabbing people in the back. There are consequences. We all deal with them. We've all had to suffer from some shit. You are not exempt. And if you really were like filled with the Holy Spirit, if you really had like the love of God inside of you, you would not degrade your body to a lifestyle such as OnlyFans. I don't care what nobody say. You can do what you want. I said that, but in the same breath, I'm saying this too. You gotta take what come with it. Real solid brothers is not marrying you. Real solid brothers aren't just six-figure dudes. Real solid brothers are not just multimillionaires. Real solid brothers aren't just guys who ride around with 6 different cars. Real solid brothers aren't just over 6'2". Real solid brothers aren't just this prototype of what society wants you to think it is. Stop getting this shit confused and twisted. All that shit that you're doing on OnlyFans is supposed to be private for one person. One. You're broken somewhere. Something is mentally and spiritually not connecting. Prove me wrong. Nobody that loves themselves would allow multiple men to enter inside of their womb, dislocate their insides, film it, plastered on the internet for the world to see. No one with any type of self-respect would treat their bodies that way. How do I know that? I'm just a regular person. Now, I've seen lives destroyed. Your attitude is ruined. Your personality is ruined. The way you perceive the world is ruined. You're desensitized to romance and love and affection. Ruined. All that shit is ruined because you done had multiple dicks in you. You use sex and replaced it to fill a hole inside of you, figuratively and metaphorically, to compensate for the lacking that is in you. Nobody was telling you the truth, or nobody put restrictions on you, or nobody was leading you. I'm not the captain of the ship to try to save nobody. And I highly doubt anybody that is in these career fields are listening to a word that I say, but you need, just like I need it, and just like everybody else needs Jesus. Straight up. Because Satan is doing a number on you. This young lady could have lost her life, never been seen again. This could have been over for her. And she's fortunate, very fortunate, to still be alive. Very. Your spine, your legs, your arms, all that is broken. All damn near every fucking bone in your body is broken. And somehow, some way, you are still alive to tell about it. That is a blessing. That is a testimony. Don't worry about the trolls. Don't worry about the people making jokes about it. Don't worry about the people making memes about it. Don't worry about the people who are laughing and going around passing notes to other people about what happened to you. Don't worry about who thinks you're popular, and don't worry about that shit. You are still alive. With the career path that you chose, with the position that you were put in, not even thanking George Foreman. Rest in peace to George Foreman. He just passed away himself. 76 years old. You're an OnlyFans model. They found you in a place where you can open your eyes. He's gone. There's no coming back. George Foreman had a fire, iconic career. His legacy will forever live on. If something unfortunate would have happened to you and you didn't wake up today, what would your legacy be? What would people remember you for? What would they remember you for? At Twins, so I'm gonna do this for y'all. I'm gonna play the video real quick. Catch y'all up to speed, because I think a lot of y'all already know what this is about. But essentially, a Russian OnlyFans model went to Dubai. She had a little too much fun, disappeared. When they found her, her body was broken. Her spine was broken. Her arms, legs were broken. But by the grace of God, they found her, and I'll play the video. Just one more time.
Told her family and friends that she was attending a party in Dubai with a modeling agency. Two men actually from a modeling agency. So she left for Dubai. When she got to Dubai, her parents, her family, her friends, nobody heard from her until they filed a missing person report. And then after some weeks later, she was found by the roadside with her spine broken and some of her limbs. She was found in a very bad state and was rushed to the hospital. She is receiving treatment and her family are currently concerned. The two men she followed to Dubai, nobody knows them. She herself doesn't even know them. And allegedly, she wasn't even taking, or she didn't meet proper agency at the party. The two men she met were people nobody knew about. And there was a rumor that the kind of party she attended are parties that men pays women lots of money to perform some kind of unspeakable act. I don't know what the act is, but I don't know if the breaking of her spine is part of the act. What do you think about this story? Moral lesson to this story: wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, make sure your family or your friends are actively involved, not the people you're working with. I know that she might feel, okay, this is an opportunity for her to travel from her country. She's actually a Russian model, but I don't think she's based in Russia. So she left to Dubai for greener pasture, and she met something unspeakable. Thank God she's still alive, and I hope she's recovering very fast. Please learn from this story, girls. The world is not.
Yeah. I pretty much summed it up. And rewind when Ian was on, and we were basically talking about whether or not this could happen to anybody versus my perspective was it could, but in the same breath, based on this and her lifestyle, she more or less put herself in this position for it to happen. And I'm not saying like she said, hey, I'm here, beat the hell out of me, break all my bone. I'm not saying she did that. What I'm saying is the road that she chose for her life led her to this. But because grace and mercy is on her side, she has the opportunity to change all of this around right now. Will she ever walk again? Will she ever be the same person after this? Is her outlook on life going to change at all? That's what I want to know. I want to know, is she going to be stuck in her ways? Or is this going to make her more savage and make her rebel more? Like sometimes when things hit you and it's life altering and you ain't got no choice but to sit still and you're in that hospital bed or you're in that sick bed, oh, it's different. When you're in that sick bed, your body is torn to pieces, you're mentally screwed, you're emotionally drained, you're exhausted all over, you can't get up, you don't want to eat, you can't sleep. things are different. The way that you view life is different. How you treat people, how you treat yourself, how you value your breaths, how you value your time, how you value God, how you value the word, how you value people's opinions. Everything is on the forefront. When you forced to be in bed, you can't do nothing with these. You don't want to be on the phone. You don't really want to be entertained by no foolishness. Don't call my phone with no fake ass friendship. Don't call my phone with no fake love. Don't you start examining everything. Dang, was this a real friend? Do I really love myself? Do I really care about myself? Am I no. I want to know where she is. I want to know where she is up here and here, because we all have gone through this. And if you haven't, I pray that you do. I pray and hope that you get to that point. Everybody thinks it's funny, or like this is an opportunity to pounce on someone while they down and kick them while they down. I don't do that. I love everybody equally. Hate me, love me, whatever. I don't want to see nobody go to hell. I don't want to see nobody lose their life. Stuck in a limbo, lost, chasing after ghosts, after demons, and thinking that these are angels representing God, and it's not. A lot of these OnlyFans models, man, they are under demonic oppression. A lot of these dudes subscribing to these channels are under demonic oppression. You know what kind of guy you have to be to break a woman's spine, break her bones? You know what type of guy you have to be to do some shit like that? We speaking about her promiscuity, how broken she might be, how greedy she is for money and all that, but consider the men in question here. These dudes are just as much under demonic oppression as she is. To be able to do bodily harm to someone like that, that is not human. Nothing human about that. And when I say there's other careers that you can get into, ladies, there are other careers that you can get into. Why are you lazy? Why do you feel that the quickest way to supply your lifestyle is through sex? Why do you continuously listen to women lie to other women about women? What is the problem? Why don't you think you're good enough to do something other than shake your ass? Why do you think you're not good enough to be respected for dressing appropriately, representing yourself appropriately? Why does your value come from sex? Why does your value come from men validating your aesthetics? Why do I have to sit up here and confess my love to you for 24 hours a day in order for you to feel special. Why do trips and bags and purses and glasses and watches, why does that shit mean so much to you? Why do you have to have 1,000 dudes sweating you? Why do you have to have all this expensive shit that does not go up in value over time mean more to you than the quantity and quality that is instilled in a person based on longer lasting traits? And we go out here with our superficial mindset. Oh, he don't make enough, so he can't take care of me. Oh, he's not tall enough, he can't take care of me. He's not loud enough, he can't take care of me. He can't fly me here, he can't take care of me. I need constant reassurance. I need constant influxes of emotions coming in and out, or he can't do nothing for me. Chasing, only to be disappointed over and over and over again. She's lucky to be alive. She's blessed to be alive. I hope and pray that she's having a conversation, or she's had multiple conversations with the Creator, whether she believe or don't believe. I hope this put her in a space that she wants to. At the end of the day, you're going to do what you want. Nobody's going to stop you. I'm not going to individually look for every OnlyFans model in the world and have conversations with each of you in your inbox, trying to spare or try to wake you up and pull you out of the matrix. I'm not going to do that. Until you realize that your value isn't tied into men, into worldly possession, you're forever going to be a slave. And just like the rest of us. If you are tied into your devices, if you're tied into the internet, into apps, if you're tied into people, into idols, you are forever going to be a slave to it. Talk about being at a disadvantage. That's all I got. Shout out to Ian, man. He had some technical issues with his device, so he bounced. But I appreciate him for pulling up. Shout out to RI Twins. Shout out to everybody that's watching wherever you are right now. I appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with me this Saturday evening. I was going to do 2 streams today. I figured though I need to focus on getting my uploads ready for next week, and I wanted to focus on getting like my setup right. It's I like to freshen up my stuff every so often. So for those of you who are subscribed to the channel, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll see me over time. To the people that are just now tuning in to me, I invite you to check out the YouTube. There's way more over here than there is on my IG, on my Twitter, and Facebook, and Rumble. There's way more over here, and I'm extremely consistent on my YouTube. There's always something going on. So I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know what time, but I will be back tomorrow. The work never stops. And yeah, my thoughts and prayers go out to the young lady who fell on the other side of this. I hope she recovers. I don't know. I don't want to ever see anybody down bad like that. Did y'all hear about it? What did y'all think? Y'all let me know in the comment section. On the way out too, just solid. If you would, it goes a long way with YouTube's algorithm, with just wherever you are, repost it, reshare it. I don't care. The more eyes on it, the better. It helps me reach a broader audience so I can have more conversations like this. Just do me this one real solid. Hold on.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all be easy. I'll see y'all tomorrow, Lord willing.
I can give you the sauce when you on my line. Late night trying to cuff, I just wanna get them to slide. Capture all these moments, I'm so home.